Good morning. Thank you for being here such an early time in the morning. So my name is Lilian Fleuri. I am Director and Pedagogical Coordinator of Raizes Brasileiras, this project, Raizes Brasileiras, that I will present now for you. And I'm also Lecturer of Brazilian Culture at the University of Queensland in Australia. And I'll talk today about maintaining the heritage language within the Brazilian diaspora in Brisbane. And I will show you the case of Projeto Raizes Brasileiras. So I'll briefly talk about the Brazilian diaspora in Australia, giving you a context of how is the community there. Then I'll present the project, its goals and history. Some important elements of this project. I'll do a brief analysis of the past and some plans about the present and the future, and I'll conclude this presentation. So Brazilian immigrants has a recent history in Australia. It started in the beginning of the 20th century with only 105 Brazilians born in Australia, and now we have more than 147,000 Brazilians. So this number in the last years are increasing significantly. I think many students are going there, and we have many working visas also being attributed to Brazilians. So you see, like from the census of 2006, 2011, we had an increase of 93% of the population, Brazilian population there. So I don't know if you can see here, it's very little, but most of Brazilians, they come under a student visa. We see you have like Brazil as the fourth country to come to study, and they come under an employer-sponsored visa as well, and temporary working visa. So the number of Brazilians are, like as I said, increasing. Most of them are located in New South Wales, in Sydney. 45% they go there, but also the second state to most receive Brazilians is Queensland, Brisbane. Most of Brazilians, they speak English very well, but they choose to speak 80%. They choose to speak Portuguese at home. So we see that most, if not to say all, Brazilian immigrants, they are first or second generation of immigrants. So here you have a completely new group willing to learn or to keep up with the language. So I think if we tackle this problem like now, we can, we can raise this generation like bilingual from scratch, from the beginning. But there are not many community language schools to teach Portuguese. We have one in Sydney, that's the older one. It's 17 years old, one in Melbourne, Adelaide, and now we have Projeto Raizes Brasileiras. That's not really a community school yet. We are in the process of implementation, but it's there. Yay. So one thing that I identified in these 3 years working with children is that for maintaining the teaching and maintaining the heritage language, we need, as we said here in this conference many times, we need quality and quantity of input. And I think with children, we really need motivation for learning. And it's very different from adults, like the kind of motivation. And I think the three elements that we have been talking to also about here, the three elements that help motivating is family, community, and language school. So I think I highlight some elements of each one. I think family helps a lot to keep the prestige of the language with the children. They pass on how proud they are about being Brazilians or speaking Portuguese. It influences the children to willing to learn. The presence of the heritage language and culture at home in daily life also is something that helps. Traveling back to the country or receiving relatives or friends in the home and keep the relationship with the extended family. The community, the fact that we have a community coexistence, it also helps. The relationship, and then for children, having the relationship with other children who speak Portuguese also is a factor that helps, and having a school where they can develop activities independently from their parents is also something important. So what is Projeto Raizes Brasileiras? A brief definition: this is a language cultural community project organized and maintained by Portuguese-speaking parents, mostly Brazilians. And I say mostly Brazilians because we have 2 families from Portuguese families. And to promote the Portuguese language and Brazilian culture among their children. So it's a project of a community language school. So we are in this process of implementation, as I said. We have children from 1 to 12 years old, and they are all kids of immigrant parents. So the main goal is to promote Portuguese language and bilingual identity among children by offering language classes and cultural workshops for children and parents. So we just not like teach the language, but also we promote, you're going to see soccer and or capoeira classes and other things. Develop and promote cultural and language activities among the community, so involving the community. Develop and publishing research from the community and to the community, so something that, go back. Developing research of Portuguese as a heritage language, offering training and seminars for teachers and parents, and organize the community of Brazilian parents keen to raise bilingual children. So it started very recent, this project. We started in 2016. It was when my older son, reached the age of 5 or 6 years old. He got in the year 1. And I said, like, okay, he's losing his Portuguese. And he's not talking to his friends anymore that he used to speak in Portuguese. So let's do something. So I raised my hand on a Facebook group. We have mothers, Brazilian mothers in Brisbane. And I said, like, I'm teaching my son. Who else wants to join me? And I have 5 spots. I will open my house to meet. So we have school holidays in Australia. We have 4 school holidays. So every end of term, we have 2 weeks of holidays. So we have to figure out what to do with our kids. They have vacation cares, so it's like what happens that my work kind of conciliate that. I can be at home during these 2 weeks with my son. So I said, like, okay, instead of planning what to do, I'll receive these 5 kids in my home, and we do some activities, and I will motivate them to just speak Portuguese all the time. During 5 hours I had them in my home. So we would cook, I would propose some games, and always involving songs, and then I don't know, like take a ball to the park and play, or a rope and like skipping rope, like singing. So by the end of the year, I just wanted them to see each other and speak Portuguese. That was my goal in 2016. But in 2017, I had more parents asking, can I bring my child? I said, like, no, my home is not the place. And I said, okay, let's rent a hall. So I bought myself a public liability. I rent this hall, and I call out the community and said, like, okay, let's bring them together. And I hired 2 other teachers. We always had a teaching assistant in class. It doesn't every time. And in this year, throughout the year, we had 24 students. We had 2 groups. And in 2018, we plan now to become an incorporated association. I already have an accountant like taking care of this. And after that, we want to be affiliated with the Department of Education and Training in Queensland. So with this affiliation, we can use the space of schools and not having to pay for liability, use the public liability of the school. And also I know that in Sydney, in New South Wales, the government gives $100 or something for each child per year. So you have kind of something that covers the material. I don't know about Queensland. I'm still investigating that, but I think it's not that different. Now we have 35 students and 3 groups, And we are delivering seminars for parents and teachers. This is very good. I think that changed a lot, the way we were doing things. And also after this conference, I'll also take everything I learned and somehow do some training with the educators. We also, and I also plan to offer Portuguese classes for parents who doesn't speak Portuguese. So I based this project in four pillars. One, of course, are the students. We have to consider that they are multi-level and mixed age groups. The educators, they are parents and members of the community, professional in teaching, most of them, I think all of them. We have a program. I'm studying the Australian curriculum of background language, as they call, and also the second language curriculum. I'm trying to see what they have in common and what they have different, and like cross the information and try to make one for Portuguese. I'm also studying how to do project-based learning and apply that for the classes. And the support material, we got inspired by these books, but we produce our own material. This one I found online. It's a caderno. It's from the Rio de Janeiro government, so just download it. It's there, available for everyone. And it's very good. I like it. And I just received from the author this book here. It's for children who go, I don't know, they just go back to Brazil and they start teaching. I'm still studying that book. I don't know. And I'm using, of course, authentic material. So the profile of the program. So this is a summary of the curriculum. The curriculum is based on socializing, using language for socializing, informing, creating, translating, reflecting, the system of language, language variation and change, and role of language and culture. So this is all points that the Australian curriculum takes into consideration. So we have, so as I said, 3 groups. We have one group that's basically a play group. We offer on Saturdays 1 hour. That's more a work with the parents rather than with kids. It's like how to establish this identity or reestablish an identity in Portuguese with the parents. So teach them how to play with the kids in Portuguese and how to, do things. But then from age 3 to 5, we also have 1 hour, but this is focused on games, and parents are not present. They are around, like in the park, waiting for the children, but we are two teachers in classroom and doing some games like Passanel or Corre Cutia, things like that you used to play when you're a child. Then we have the school age group. That is 2 hours, and the first hour is focused on planning and discussing, and more focused on reading and writing. I am the one who teaches this class. So the structure is like we do a circle where we decide what to do. Then we have the working group time, and then they present what they have produced. So this is more or less. And then another teacher takes over. That's not a language teacher. He's another specialty, expertise, and he introduces what he's going to do, he practices, and he presents. And these are Saturday schools and bi-weekly meetings also. So just for you to have an idea of this school age 2. The first term, we have the topic is games and carnival. The community is organizing a carnival party, so with the kids we are doing this project of making the parade. So every group will make their own school, samba school. So they'll make the costumes, the allegorical car, etc. But also games, and at the end they will produce maybe a manual of games and how to play and all these things to teach other children. The second term is focused on capoeira workshop and history of Brazil in the writing workshop with an instructor of capoeira. And then the third term is visual arts. We have a PhD student of design in the QT, and she's also an art art teacher back in Brazil, and she's teaching how to draw. So we are asking the children to choose if they want to produce a comic book, or because they are very into drawing, no? Like, so they want to learn, or maybe producing a book for at the end. And then the last term, we finished with drama classes and a presentation for the parents. So, yeah. So also we have some community initiatives promoted by this project that actually was proposed after the project was getting to be more known by the community. One is Projeto Bate-Bola, which is soccer for children, but the teacher just speaks Portuguese. He just speaks Portuguese, so it's just like a way to motivate them to maybe speak and have a role model of a Portuguese speaker. And Capoeira Beriba Azul for kids, they speak English, but it's like for those resistant kids who want to, start to initiate speaking, but they are very shy, so they get true culture to speak. So I'll do a brief analysis of the enrollment through 2017 and student retention. So this is what I have. I had 2 groups in 2017. As I said, 24 students throughout the years, but just 11 finished the course. And then I have just 2 groups that I did based on their fluency, their proficiency in Portuguese. The first group that was less, they started very low motivated, I classify here, and I would say very resistant to get into the classroom since the beginning, so that was a challenge. And the group didn't really speak Portuguese. They could understand something, or they would just overhear. But the second group was they entered very highly motivated. I think the numbers I changed something, and they are not really, I think here is 10. So they start very highly motivated, and they were very proficient in the language. So what I have is here, my hypothesis that motivation was strongly connected with family and community engagement, and that's what helped them to abandon the course throughout the year. So group 1, most were highly demotivated since the beginning, refusing to participate or to respond to an activity proposed. And the second group, they are highly motivated since the beginning. The first group, children didn't know each other outside the classroom. Parents were not related and didn't relate during the course. And in this group 2, children already knew each other, so that was the place where they would meet their friends, and parents also. Children did not speak the heritage language with their parents. Consequently, children spoke nothing or little Portuguese. And group 2, parents spoke Portuguese at home. The Australian parents here didn't understand, speak, or have any interest in learning Portuguese. And here, yes, parents did speak some Portuguese, and or at least showed interest in learning or feel proud about the child to speak. Numbers of class was just 2 meetings per month, was not enough for acquiring a language. But it's just enough for socialization, motivating them to speak more. And also here I realized that in this group, they had like low community involvement, so parents really didn't engage with other parents in the group, whereas here children were very well integrated with the community events and everything. So the conclusion, I say that language heritage has to do with your identity, who you are, and who you are as part of your family, your community, and the school you go. So maintaining heritage language is a community-related work maintained by parents, educators, and children of the diaspora. And so having this said, in 2018, my expectation is I just plan to involve more the community, so not to just focus on the classroom itself, but to bring the community to to join and to be a big group. And also promoting like every event just speaking Portuguese. I think this will help. But also I think that building a solid teamwork of educators, I forgot to mention, we have now 8 educators. I don't know if I mentioned that. We have now 8 educators that are paid, but they also work a lot of volunteer. They give their time for free for meetings and organizing things. So building this strong teamwork, I think, will help. Developing cultural events in partnership with the community, motivating parents to meet each other, and motivate Australian parents to also learn Portuguese, I think will help also the children to be more motivated. Deliver seminars and educating the parents. I think every end of term, I think I will do a meeting where we talk about raising children bilingual, and involve and motivating the community students to produce also. This is something I find important. Produce films, video, podcasts, literature, theater play, concerts, etc. Something that it comes from and goes to the diaspora. So, having creating a cultural language identity of the diaspora, producing quality and quantity of input that talks to and about the diaspora. Another thing that we try to do is parents who like theater or drama, we just do drama classes and planning to make a drama, a play, and present in Portuguese. And so things like this are happening. Oh, thank you very much. And any questions? We have also a web page, Facebook group, and a YouTube channel you can visit. Thank you.